Hello and welcome to Illuminations with Tina and Fee, for you who desires a life of joy. I'm Tina, and as today is our guest episode for our series on perfectionism, Fee isn't here. But with me instead, I've got Sophia Lightfoot, who is a mindset coach and a rapid transformational therapist, all the way from Australia. Now we've covered Europe and America, and now we've got Australia on board. This is wonderful. Welcome to the program, Sophia.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Great. Sophia, I'd love for you to say a few words about yourself, the way that you want to introduce yourself to the audience. And I know that when we got in touch with each other, you said that you are a reformed perfectionist, the reason why you're here today. But please do introduce yourself.
I am a reformed perfectionist. So, growing up, I was actually told being a perfectionist was good. So I remember very much, I remember Dad looking at my mother so fondly going, "Oh, your mother is a perfectionist just like you." And I thought, "Oh, that's good. That's a really good thing." But I think what was really meant by the word perfection was that we did things to a high standard. We were really conscientious. We gave attention to detail. But as time went on, I really did become a very unresourceful perfectionist. So, being a perfectionist, I wanted to get everything just right. And if it wasn't going to be just right, I'd get really scared. And this went on for years and years and years. So to the point where it became quite debilitating. I wouldn't do things that I wanted to do because I'd be scared I might get it wrong. And it wasn't really until I was at uni the second time round. So I did a Bachelor of Arts coming out of high school in Australia. And then I went and I traveled. And I traveled on an extended working holiday for about 10 years, met my husband, settled down to become a mother. And I'd always wanted to be a teacher. And I thought, I tried quite a few times to study when I was younger, but it meant I would have to move back to the city. And we were living quite remotely in outback Australia for a lot of that time. So it was kind of difficult to do. And then technology caught up with us and I could study through the internet and just go into the local town where the university was a few times a year. And when I started studying, my first 6 months, I got a letter from the dean saying, "You're in the top, 5% of students." And I went, "Oh, wow." And then the next 6 months, I nearly failed because I went, now I have to be this good. Like anything less than this, I'm going to, that's going to be bad. And suddenly I couldn't write. I'd sit there and I'd stare at my screen. And I thought, oh, what am I going to do? So I took up this adult learn how to study course. And the first thing I learned was, changing your thinking. And my lecturer said, procrastination is the enemy of progress. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. Perfectionism is what makes us procrastinate. So wanting to be perfect, wanting to have everything just right, I would just be frozen in fear. And it also made me so miserable because it wasn't just in my studies. It was, being a mum, being a wife. If I didn't get things just right, I'd be so hard on myself. I'd really verbally beat myself up. So I call it a curse, perfectionism. It's not a good thing. So instead, I replaced it with a pursuit of excellence. And this is where the school where I now work, this is our motto. It's in the pursuit of excellence, knowledge, and service. And while excellence can mean different things to different people, to me, it means doing something to a high standard. Again, not doing your best. And a lot of people say, just do your best. And I think, yeah, you do your best. And what if you fail? Oh, well, that's my best. That's the best I can do. And I've stuffed up. What does that say about me? I'm no good. I'm a failure. But pursuing excellence means you're always looking to improve, having a go. And being okay with stuffing up, because when we make a mistake, you know, we learn from it. You know, if I walking my dogs down the street and I trip over, there's a pothole, I go like, oh, well, next time I'm going to look out. I know there's that pothole there. I'm going to go around it. So pursuing excellence to me means like going for a high standard, a good standard, having a go, and the joy comes in just that having a go. You know, even if it's something I might be a little bit scared of, just having the courage to have a go and be okay with, hey, I'm going to trip over that pothole, fall flat on my face. I'm going to get up again. This time I will try to remember to go around it.
Yeah. So life as a perfectionist then, and now more like in pursuit of excellence, or having let go of the perfectionism, it sounds like it's a life where you take more chances. It sounds calmer when you describe it. It's freer.
Yeah, much calmer, much freer, so much more relaxing. Because when I was chasing perfection, I didn't even probably call it that. I just would think like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. I'm not getting it right. I didn't think, how can I do it better? It was just either right or wrong.
Okay,
And yeah, very black and white. And it was all about, you know, getting it right, whatever it was. But when I'm pursuing excellence, it's living according to my values. Really having a go at doing the things I want to do, at being the person I want to be, and being okay with making mistakes. Carol Dweck, in her book Mindset, talks about the difference between that fixed mindset and that growth mindset. And that spoke volumes to me, because to really celebrate making an effort, taking action, doing something, it's brings so much more joy than just celebrating the results.
Yeah.
Because that way, you know, if you don't get the results you wanted, you still took that action, and you can still feel good about yourself for taking that action. Plus, taking that action gives you feedback. You get feedback then. Oh, well, what did I do well? What do I need to improve? So, you know, working with students, say, particularly in writing, I teach grade 5 students where I work at the school. You know, sometimes they're so scared to write, they will tell me their ideas. I'm like, fantastic, write that. 20 minutes later, they come back and they've got one sentence. I'm like, where's all these ideas? Oh, I said, you know, we can't work with a blank page. We can't edit that. You know, make more mistakes, just put something there, we can work with it then. You know, like we've got something to work with. But it takes a while. It takes a while for us to learn, hey, it's okay to make mistakes. You know, it's good to make mistakes, and we'll learn from that. But I think there's a fundamental reason why it's okay to make mistakes. And that is, first, we have to feel okay with who we are.
Oh, God, yes.
So for a long time, you know, I wasn't able to do this. It's only like, you know, very recently where I realized, and it's probably going to sound really cheesy, I'm a good person. You know, I'm a good person regardless of the mistakes I make, regardless of the mistakes I have made, and I've made a lot, just like everyone else. I'm a good person, you know, underneath all that. And when we really fully understand that and embrace that, then it's okay. It's like, well, even if I make a mistake, if I, you know, really stuff something up and everybody laughs at me or they ridicule me, that's okay, because I'm okay. You know, I am enough just as I am. And that makes all the difference. That makes a whole world of difference.
The feeling I get in my body when you say that is like relaxing into life. It's like, opening up and relaxing. So what I love, you wrote that you encourage, and you've said that now as well, you encourage your students and clients to make mistakes. And that, of course, encourages a whole other way of approaching life and anything that you do. And I think, you know, in so many cases, I can remember at school, you know, you put your arm up and you're kind of, yeah, I know the answer. Teacher goes, that is wrong. So you go, oh, okay, that's wrong. I shouldn't have said anything, you know, and it's like shutting down, you know. And I'm hoping that that's kind of opening up more and more in all kinds of institutions, so schools and places to embrace that. So for you, you said that it's a whole kind of new way of thinking that started to happen when you realized that, you know, this old way is not working anymore. If there's anybody watching right now who feels like, well, I'm probably a perfectionist and it's probably not making me so happy in my life, what steps could they take to move forward from it?
It's really taking the time to, you know, embrace who you are and to really love yourself. And that's so much easier said than done.
Oh, yes.
So, you know, I would really, you know, I don't know if I can say this here, but I would recommend a rapid transformational therapy session.
Oh, yes.
Because that really, really gets to the root cause of the issue. And that was for me where I really had that big breakthrough. You know, I talked about it. God knows I had written millions of affirmations about loving myself. And it still was just like oil on water. You know, it never really got right down. But being able to go back to that to those scenes from my childhood where I made a decision that somehow I wasn't good enough, that I had to prove myself. And reaching for some standard of perfection, I mean, it's unattainable. So you are never going to be good enough if you're reaching for perfection. So to be able to work with a rapid transformational therapist, to get to that root cause. And what I loved about the process is it's so gentle and so powerful. I felt like this completeness when I realized where this whole problem stemmed from. And the perfectionism for me over decades had, you know, led to a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. And not only for me, but for the people around me, because what we demand of ourselves, we demand of everyone else. So not only was I demanding perfection of myself, I was demanding everyone around me was perfect too, which, you know, didn't make me a very pleasant person to be around. So now, you know, it's just so much more relaxing to know that deep down inside I'm okay, and therefore I know also that everyone else deep down is also a really good person, no matter what mistakes they make, no matter what they may say in times when their emotions are high. Deep down, you know, I know that they are enough too. And that makes all my relationships, all my interactions, all my connections with everyone so different and so much lighter, so much more joyful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so for you, it was very much about coming to the root cause, and for you, it was through rapid transformational therapy. And of course, I know as well, having gone through the process, that's one way of kind of really getting there and getting that understanding, and then being able to release it. So,
because I tried and tried for so long, doing so many different, you know, methodologies, therapies, and I sort of get near it, and then and you know, I think like, I'm fine, and then I'd find myself again, you know, like beating myself up. Oh, you're not good enough, or you can't do this. What are you even trying this for? Oh, you'll never be as good as that person. And being able to make mistakes, to take those little risks that you need to in daily life, whether it's in your relationships, in your work, in your business, it really stunts growth. And what I see so much with my clients, you know, is they know they have this potential, you know, they know there's so much more in them, yet they can't release it. And this fear of not being good enough, which we disguise as, you know, perfectionism, which creates so much procrastination. And then with that procrastination comes this guilt and this shame. Oh, I know I should be doing this, but I'm not doing this. When we can really, really know on such a deep level that, you know, I am enough, I'm a good person, I'm lovable, I belong, then everything else changes. It's like that little that pebble in the pond.
Yes.
And then in your whole life, it just, you know, ripples out to every relationship, to every experience. It's such a beautiful ripple.
You've got a beautiful way of describing it. So it's fantastic. So we are out of time. It goes so quickly.
It does. It does.
So much for sharing your story and your knowledge and how you got to where you are today. So
thank you so much. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you. And for the viewers, thank you for being with us. If you like this episode, let us know. Share it with those who you think that might also benefit from it. And next month is the next theme, new theme. And we'll see you then. Take care. Bye now.